Today we're going to talk about enterprise architecture in ERP, building the foundation for success. Your ERP implementation just went live, but your sales team still cannot see real-time inventory. Your marketing automation does not sync with the customer data. And your e-commerce platform, it operates in a silo. You just spent $500,000 on an ERP but forgot to design the enterprise architecture to support it. Today I'm explaining why architecture planning determines ERP success or failure. So, what is enterprise architecture? It's a blueprint, it's an artifact for how all your business systems work together. Through my analysis of ERP implementations, I have seen companies achieve transformational results with good enterprise architecture planning and expensive failures without it. Re-architecting your enterprise systems before ERP implementation is a difference between success and expensive chaos. That's the difference. So when you're looking at enterprise architecture, the way you look at it is that you define how the people, the process, the data, the technology, how do they work together to achieve the business objectives and even to advance it? Why does it matter for ERP success? All you're doing in an enterprise architecture, you're mapping what the current state reality is. Most growing companies, they have 15 to 25 different software applications. They might have multiple databases and they have inconsistent data. They have manual processes, bridging system gaps. They have limited visibility across various functions. So what you do is you craft a future state vision. ERP becomes a central hub. It connects all the business systems through standardized data formats. You have common definitions and standardized data formats. You have automated workflows that work across all departments, and you have real-time information sharing. You have integrated reporting and analytics. So it's important to assess the architecture assessment process. What is that? You look at the current state mapping and you document all of the existing systems and their connections. Look at the financial systems, look at accounting, billing, payroll. Look at the customer-facing systems. Look at your CRM, e-commerce, support. Look at your operation systems. Maybe you're looking at inventory, manufacturing, logistics, supply chain. Then you also have the employee systems. You have HR, project management, time tracking. All of those come into play. You have data flow analysis. Map how information moves between systems. How does customer data go from the website to the CRM to the ERP? Look at the data flow. How does product information go from ERP to e-commerce to marketing? How does financial data move from operations to accounting to reporting? And then look at the integration gap, where things might fall apart. Identify where manual processes create inefficiency. Let's say you're doing daily exports and imports between systems. Let's say you're duplicating data entry across multiple platforms. You're doing a lot of manual reconciliation and validation to kind of bridge gaps. And then they're delayed or inconsistent or incorrect reporting. So let's talk about the key architecture components. You have the data integration layer. And these are basically APIs, right? For real-time system communication, these are APIs residing in that layer. You have data transformation and mapping rules in that layer. You're literally doing master data management. And you're also monitoring the quality of the data and validating the quality of the data. So an example would be that the CRM creates a new customer, ERP automatically creates a customer record, the e-commerce platform updates a customer account. That's an example. Marketing automation adds to appropriate segments. Now, on top of the data layer is the automation layer, which is more like the engine, the workflow engine for business process automations. It has rules. It is dealing with exceptions, escalation rules, approval workflows, authorization controls. You might even have document management and version control in the authorization layer. An example would be, let's look at a sales order, similar. Sales order in CRM. There's a credit check that happens in ERP, inventory is allocated, production is planned, shipping is notified of the production, invoice is generated, and there's a communication with the customer at that point when the invoice goes out. On top of that is the analytics and reporting layer. This is where the data warehouse is brought into picture. You're putting BI tools for analysis. You have real-time dashboards and KPI monitoring. You might be also doing predictive analytics and forecasting. Then you also have the security and governance layer, very important, single sign-on across all systems, role-based access controls and permissions, data privacy and compliance management, having audit trails and change tracking. These are very, very key. You're forming a moat around your architecture. There's a common architecture pattern that is often used, which is a hub and spoke model. You probably heard of that. And ERP serves as a central hub, and other systems just connect to it. The advantage is it's a simplified integration, and it's centralized data management. However, there is one disadvantage: it can become a bottleneck, and it can limit your flexibility. So the best of breed integration are those which are multiple specialized systems that are connected through an integration platform. The advantage in that is that it provides you a more optimal functionality in each area, and it creates flexibility, but the integration becomes a little bit more complex and the maintenance costs are a little bit higher. There is also the platform-based architecture, which is a cloud platform which provides all the integration services, and it provides you all the shared data models. You can scale very quickly, that's the advantage, and you can reduce technical debt. But the disadvantage is that you're dependent on the platform and you're locked into this particular vendor. So what are the planning steps in enterprise architecture? You design or you redesign your business process. Before you select technology, optimize your process. Eliminate the redundant steps and approvals. Standardize the procedures across the various departments. Define clear roles and responsibilities. Document process flows and decision points. The second part is when you design your data architecture, create unified data model across all systems, whether it be master data entities, customers, products, employees. You look at the data quality standards out there and how do you validate the data? You create data governance policies and ownership. You create the data security and privacy requirements. And then you formulate your integration strategy. You plan how your systems will communicate. Will there be real-time integration that'll create, or will there be batch integration requirements? It has latency impacts, by the way. You have API first design for future flexibility. You have error handling and retry mechanisms. You have performance and scalability considerations. And you look at the technology standards, establish the guidelines for future system selections. Do you prefer cloud platforms? And do you work with cloud platform vendors? Do you want, what are the security and compliance requirements that you have to consider? What are the user experience and interface standards that you want to embrace? What type of integration capabilities and API support do you want to follow? So what are the implementation considerations and how do you phase it? Don't try to integrate everything simultaneously. Go by phases. Phase one, look at the core ERP modules, look at finance, look at operations. Then you move into customer-facing integrations, CRM, e-commerce. And then phase three is more like the visualization, analytics, specialized tools, Phase 4 might be AI-based learning, machine learning capabilities. The other aspect you have to document is change management. When you build the architecture, the changes affect everyone. So consider the training on the new integrated workflows, communication about process changes, support for users adapting to new systems, and how do you create feedback loops, feedback collection, and how to iterate based on the feedback. Consider risk mitigation strategies. Plan for integration challenges. Do you have data backup and recovery procedures? Do you have rollback plans for failed integrations? Do you have performance monitoring and optimization protocols established? Are there security vulnerability assessment? Go to your CISO and speak to him or her about it. And what are the common architecture mistakes that can occur? Point-to-point integration. You have that problem where creating data connections between every system can lead to kind of like spaghetti, maybe. You ignore data quality, then integrating bad data across multiple systems can create a problem. And if you over-engineer the system, then you're building a very complex architecture for a very simple business, and you're spending a lot of dollars and time doing that. Investing in security is very important. Sometimes that becomes a problem because you're exposing sensitive data through insecure integration, so you don't want to do that. There are quantifiable ROI benefits on a very good integration. It can be significant in terms of time, in terms of process efficiency, in terms of data insights, to chaperone the organization toward advancing the objectives. It creates real-time business visibility for decision-making. It improves customer experience through data consistency. And it also creates a scalable foundation for business growth. There's a competitive advantage through operational efficiency that is created. So I guess in conclusion, enterprise architecture is not really IT planning, it's a business strategy enablement. The companies that invest in enterprise architecture planning before the ERP implementation, they will achieve better ROI, they will achieve faster value realization, and they will create more scalable operations. The Architecture, the business architecture is a foundation of your technology house. You can build a beautiful house on a weak foundation, but it won't withstand growth and change. So in the next episode, we'll explore how to extend your ERP system with plugins and integrations to maximize value and handle unique business requirements that your core ERP does not address. See you next week. Take care.